a little bit of an update. So first we'll talk about life update and travel prep. We are, of course, still preparing for full-time travel and digital nomading. So that is exactly what you think it would be, but I have just gotten back from a lot of back-to-back traveling, but I just got back from my last trip before we go on what we have been referring to as the big trip. So from now until when we leave, it will be essentially just straight travel prep and getting our lives together, getting our stuff together, and being prepared to start this next journey. And for me personally, I know what a lot of people have been asking about is, what are you going to pack? How are you deciding what to pack? And that is really what I am now realizing I probably should have started sooner. But my goal is to kind of create my capsule wardrobe and then try and live out of my suitcase for a couple of weeks and see what things I'm missing and what things I might want to add, because although I can still get a lot of things abroad and I'm not going to have an issue like finding things, I don't want to go ill prepared. So that is what my next adventure is going to be as far as tasks. Of course, we're still decluttering. I still am having to redo a bunch of furniture in the garage. I know this isn't a DIY channel like it used to be, but if you want to see that, I probably can post some pictures of what I'm working on and just the whole decluttering process. I definitely thought I would be more ahead by now, but maybe that was the oversized ambition that we have frequently talked about. But yeah, I just thought that at this point in the, or at this point from when we were going to leave, that, oh, basically everything would be done and it would just kind of be like coasting it till the end. But it seems like what it's really going to be is, oh, you know what? Sorry, I had the video, this live stream on YouTube pulled up on my phone, and so it was delayed talking back, and me I had turned it off. Anyway, we're back. So, yeah, I thought I'd be more ahead, but it seems like what we're going to be doing is really just working faster and faster as the time gets shorter. My husband has about a week left, and then he will also be in the throes of it here with me. But definitely having two sets of hands is going to make things go a lot faster. So I am excited about that. I know that that'll be another milestone for us of, oh, it's getting closer. And, once you leave your job, it's not like there's no going back, but that marks a pretty significant step to move forward with our plans. And then the next thing I want to talk about was updates with the channel and how that is going to go. So once again, thank you to everyone who watches, who comments. People have been leaving some really, really good like packing and organizing your suitcase tips in the comments. So if you're looking to be an expert on how to pack your bags, there are tons of comments, especially on my Bag Smart video about different ways you can pack your bag. So check those out. Right now I'm trying to experiment with new formats, sit down videos, vlogs, packing challenges, reviews. And of course, I would love to know what you guys want to see. But I did post a video about the Bag Smart Blast backpack, which is doing really well. So of course, thank you guys for watching that video and interacting with it and commenting with it. I want to do a follow-up just after it's been, I think, probably a couple of months, if not maybe a month, of me using that bag. So I would love to do a follow-up on things I didn't expect, because it really surprised me in a lot of ways, and I figured it was probably time to do an update versus just how to pack the bag. Let's see. And speaking of content, I know that there have been a handful of people that want to stay up to date with the travels, and you want to come on this journey with us, which is great because we definitely want you to come on this journey with us. And so we have created a Patreon so that we can all be one community, and that way we have a place to kind of share the behind the scenes of this journey without just straight putting our location and like all of our information directly on the internet, if that makes sense. So that will be, for the people that want to stay really involved, that will be links below at patreon.com/RachelThomasLife. And the lowest tier is really the cheapest I could make it on Patreon, which is $1. But over there, we can post some more behind the scenes photos and things like that. I'll also be doing polls, to figure out what videos to make and some Q&A, and then there is different tiers. The one I'm most excited about is our postcard club, which is our current highest tier, but for our postcard club, they will be getting a postcard once a month from whatever destination we're in that month. So it'll be a handwritten postcard and we will mail that to you from wherever in the world we are. And so I love that handwritten touch to be able to stay in contact with you guys. And I wanted to announce the Patreon here for my live viewers first, because people that are watching this right now are the real ones. But I will probably be putting another video kind of more in depth about it on the channel at some point, so you can look out for that. But yeah, if you want to go and check it out, it is patreon.com/RachelThomasLife. So today, and that is my bed and our sleep setup, okay? When we moved, we got what I consider the most perfect mattress, okay? I love our mattress. It's and maybe this is just me, okay? Maybe he doesn't feel the same way. It is the perfect amount of softness. It's so comfortable that every single time we come back from a trip, no matter how long, the second we lay in bed, we're like, oh, this is going to be tough. And I don't have a hard time sleeping on different mattresses, but there's something about my mattress that I'm like, I'm really not gonna be able to sleep on it for like a minimum of 6 months. That is heartbreaking. Like, it's just how I can't even explain that the world's most perfect mattress is sitting here unused, not giving anyone permission to break into our house and use it. But that is something that we're gonna miss. And with the mattress, it's just the entire sleep setup. Like, you know, when you go to sleep, you have your nightstand and you have everything set up the way you want it to be. And for as much as you try to replicate that, you can only replicate it with the things you bring in your suitcase. And I've gotten very good at having, you know, a nightstand and then my fold out charger and I can put my stuff on it. I've gotten good at that, but it's just not what I have at home. And staying with your consistent sleep schedule is also something that's hard, especially if you're in an area, whether it's an area of the country or an area of the world that's like between more than one time zone. And as you travel, you kind of cross it multiple times. Jumping backwards and forwards an hour over and over again can actually get exhausting. And so maybe it's the consistent everything, but having a comfortable bed and a comfortable sleep setup is definitely one of the things we're gonna miss. The next one is my go-to coffee order. And I made a comment about this in a video that I'm actually editing, so I'm gonna say it here, but if you watch a video I made about layovers that's coming out soon, I talk about it there too. For me, I don't care how hot it is. I will always drink a hot latte. Like, I just don't want an iced coffee. I want hot coffee every single time. So I have this issue mainly when we go to Europe, because I try not to go to Starbucks as my only coffee source. Okay, I want to be cultured and branch out or whatever they say. Okay, I just want coffee sometimes. And I forget that they really don't, they're the ones that are cultured and branch out, and they really don't put a bunch of sugar in their lattes. And so I'll go and I'll order an oat milk latte, or I'll order an oat milk cappuccino, and forget that if I don't say a flavor, there is no sugar in it. So now I've got espresso and coffee when really I wanted espresso, sugar, and coffee. And then I'm like, oh, let me get a pump of the vanilla, pump of the sweetener. They're like, we don't have that. So what do you mean? I'm like, right. So now I've got a hot, non-sweet latte and packets of sugar, and I'm viciously in the cafe trying to mix it up, and I'll make it work. But there's something about being given a cup of coffee that's exactly what you want, that you can drink out the cup with no doctoring, that really makes you appreciate what you have at home. And then on the flip side, it's not just when I order coffee to go, but when I'm at home, I have my pump of vanilla, or my pump of lavender. I have my coffee machine. I can wake up, turn the Keurig on. I haven't become an espresso girl yet. I got my Keurig in 2015 and it is doing great. I wake up, turn the Keurig on, I can make my coffee and I'm good. But there's something about being in a hotel room that I don't know how much I trust hotel room coffee machines. Do they clean it? Do I need to clean it? And then, once again, no cream, no sugar, no sweetener. So maybe this is just my long-winded way of saying I need to get really into black coffee, but I don't feel like that's for me. But having a consistent order that you can reliably replicate is such a treat, such a treasure. Also, I don't actually know how many of these I have, so we are gonna go through these as a unit. But the next one is a consistent fitness. I'm roping it all into one, okay? And I will talk about these separately, but I'm just gonna say wellness routine. So let's start with fitness. Okay, we have, I don't want to say home gym because like if you go up there, you're like, this isn't a gym, but we have the stuff to work out at home. I have the Peloton and Tonal, and between those two things and me, I can get a full workout 7 days a week. I love walking upstairs and working out and not having to leave the house, because if I leave the house for any amount of drive, that is going to, oh, you know what? I'm going to back up because Amanda also understands the struggle of not trusting hotel room coffee. And I would like to know if you have any solutions for it, okay? I've taken towels and I've cleaned it and I brewed cups of water, but at a certain point, I'm like, I just don't think that this is for me. But anyway, okay, back to the fitness. So I love being able to work out here. If I get in a car, even if I'm driving 5 minutes there, 5 minutes to get out the car, and then 5 minutes to get back in the car after, and 5 minutes to drive back here, that's 20 minutes that I am not working out. And do you think I'm not going to cut that from my workout? Because I am. Hello, Philly in the Brain. Thank you so much for joining. So I love being able to go upstairs and work out, okay? When I'm traveling, the options are either hotel gym, which typically has 7.5 dumbbells. How they figure that out, I'm not sure. And then cardio equipment that doesn't work. Or pay to go to a gym, which is still leaving the house, or work out from the room, which I end up doing. So I do miss my home workout setup. The second thing is I got really into pickleball, just like the rest of the country did, I guess, at the same time. So I have a pickleball club membership here that I participate in, and I have friends and I play quite frequently. And I was looking, and it's like pickleball is not as big everywhere as I would like to think it is. So I'm trying to find ways where I can keep playing as I'm abroad, but it seems like I picked the wrong sport for that. Okay, tennis might have worked, basketball could have worked, racquetball could have worked, but pickleball? I'm not seeing it anywhere. Maybe there's like one pickleball facility in like all of Italy or something, maybe like 2 or 3. But how far am I willing to travel to play this sport? And so I used to travel, I even have it next to me. I unpacked my bag earlier, so I have my pickleball paddle. I used to bring it with me while I traveled in hopes of just finding somewhere to play, and I am not seeing it. And on the back end of that is just the overall wellness routine. You know, you have your estheticians, skincare, nails, and all of those things that you do here. And depending on how long you've traveled for, sometimes when you leave, you know, if you're gone for like 3 weeks or less, you can get away with not doing it and coming back. But once it hits like that month, there's just something that you're gonna have to find abroad. And I found, like, especially getting my nails done, dip who? I didn't even know how to explain the concept of dip, so I ended up getting acrylic, which is fine, but it's just having to refigure out all of the things while you're traveling that you know at home would just be a lot less brain power. And I think my thing with this is a lot of these things would just end up being less brain power, and because now you have to figure it out, it's just added on top of planning trips, and if you're working, also working and figuring out what's going on. And then also here's the things that I do all the time that I now need to work in here. So I do need to figure that one out. Also, Philly, I would love to, if you want to drop like a link or a comment to the brewing cone, I would like to check that out. Thank you. Okay, on to the next one. This might seem like a no-brainer, but just US stores that you can't find abroad. And I should say that it's not necessarily that you can't find them, because I've seen like foreign Targets and Costco, but they're not where you want them to be. They're not within walking distance of where you're staying, or if you know like your area and where you live, you don't know, oh, Home Goods is 6 minutes that way and Costco's around the corner over here. And it's something that you have to probably hop on transportation and get to. And so when you're sitting in your room and you're like, fine, I've realized the things I've forgotten. I realize what I need to go and get. So let me run to the store. Then you're typing in the maps. Okay, of course, there's not going to be the name brands you're looking for. You finally find a store that might serve your purpose. You think you have, put in the map, take 25 minutes on someone's train to get there. You walk in and it's like literally a gas station. So a convenience store. The amount of time and brain power, mind you, at this point it's probably 9 o'clock at night. Okay, it closes in 15 minutes. That's happened to me more than you could imagine. Just not knowing the names of the stores that have the things that you want is so inconvenient. If you want a little story, there was a time where I was in Germany for a wedding and we needed a piece of acrylic, like clear plastic. And here at home, I can be at not HEB, yikes. I can be at Home Depot and back with a sheet of acrylic in like 15 minutes. But in Germany, I couldn't even begin to tell you how to say home improvement store or how to locate, because it's not like every country has these huge box stores like we do. I'm like, where does a consumer get a sheet of acrylic? And safe to say, I did not find it. Someone that actually lived in Germany had to locate it. But having access to those really easy, convenient stores is key, especially when you just want to replace the things that you have. Also, I've brought stuff like shampoo, conditioner, things like that, things that may not be the biggest of brands, you want to be able to find them when you want to find them. And that is something that I know I'm going to deal with, because I plan on bringing full-size bottle of my hair care, just because I thought about this, and this is maybe going to be in the packing video, but if I bring travel sized, I'm going to have to refill it. And then if I buy a big bottle to refill it, what do I do with the big bottle? Throw it away? So I think I'm going to end up checking my small suitcase whenever I have those big bottles and then going from there. But let's get on with the next one. And that is this one. I just got back from a cruise, which is small living quarters. And so this one really speaks to me right now, but that is not living out of a bag. I really miss not living out of a bag and knowing where everything is. And I should say that all of these things that I miss, none of them are so bad that they should keep you from traveling or that they would keep me from traveling. However, it is nice to point out the things that you want to be aware of. That way you don't feel like you're alone in feeling this way, or feeling like you're being ungrateful because you're like, I'm lucky to be traveling and I'm glad I can travel, but I do miss these things. It's important to acknowledge all of it. And so living out of a suitcase or living out of a backpack is tough, especially if you don't have maybe like a whole dresser in your hotel room or a place where you can unpack, or if you're moving fast enough that you spend a couple hours unpacking your bag, but you know you're going to pack it up in 2 days and leave, and that's not worth it. You're living out of a suitcase. And you have to be so much more organized when you are living out of a suitcase. If let's say you're wearing your clothes more than once before you wash them, if you are just taking clothes off and then throwing them on top of the suitcase, after a good 2 or 3 changes, you're not going to know where your stuff is. So do yourself the favor now. Fold it up and put it away. But then that means if you're not used to that at home, now you're relearning, okay, fold my stuff, put it away. Now I need to live out of a suitcase. And then if you put it up somewhere else, it's like, at home you know exactly where everything is, but now that I'm in a hotel, where am I keeping my workout clothes? Where did I keep this shirt? Was this shirt with my day clothes, or is it with my night clothes, or was it with my athletic clothes because I went running in it one time? And it takes a good amount of time to relearn it. And if you are not, because I am not a type A person, so I do not necessarily pack the same way every single time, even if we're still on a trip and maybe going to different cities. I do not repack that bag the same every time. So for me, every hotel is essentially relearning where all my stuff is. I might have had the packing cubes arranged this way once, and then as I'm using them, like, okay, well, let me put this over here because this is kind of dirty, or like I've worn it once, but it's not dirty, but it's not clean. I get to the new hotel room and I'm like, okay, cool. So I know where nothing is. I have learned nothing. And that should be a me problem. And maybe this is just me telling myself that I need to figure that one out. But not knowing where things are, living out of a bag, it just takes so long to get used to. And for many trips, by the time you get used to it, you're already ready to go home. So it is something that you can miss. Now we're moving on from the packing and the luggage and the straight traveling to my content creation. Because for me, with having a travel-based channel, filming and editing and being able to do this while I'm abroad is a big part of traveling for me. There are days that I do like where I am not necessarily filming every single thing, but for the most part, I do need to figure out how this whole setup is going to work. And doing that in hotel rooms, and especially when they're changing, is half the job in and of itself. If you watch maybe my last like 4 videos, I think they were recorded in 4 different destinations, 2 different cabins, 1 hotel room, some were at home. And so it's nice to be able to, like, my lives. The first live I did, I came in, I spent some time making this setup, which honestly is a nice setup. It makes me chuckle. The camera's setting on some books. I've got like all my devices and my light, but I figured out a setup that worked. And so I was good. I was able to leave it up. I left it here for 2 weeks so that when I came back to do another live, it was here. If I were in a hotel room, I would have to figure out this setup every single time and for every single video recorded. Now, if I'm staying somewhere for a month, that would be nice. But if I'm moving somewhere every week, then I'm going to have to re-find good lighting and re-find a position every time. And with our suitcases, I'm not really bringing a full like extendo tripod. I'm not bringing a ring light. I'm going to have just the cameras, and I have to work with what I have to work with. So that is not necessarily a struggle, but it is something I have to work on. I did learn, for anyone else that also makes travel content, an upside down tiny bathroom trash can on a desk makes a wonderful tripod. It's the perfect height for me. So I've used a lot of upside down trash cans in the past couple of weeks. And then for the editing, my goodness, if the Wi-Fi is not Wi-Fiing, I didn't realize how big of a problem I have. That was when I remembered that Canva works off of Wi-Fi. It's not just editing with no Wi-Fi. If you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have Canva. And if I don't have Canva, I don't have a thumbnail, I don't have any of these graphics. And that was something that I needed to get used to. I am working with, I'm going to use an eSIM for the travels, so that might help with not having to rely so heavy on Wi-Fi. But being able to be flexible with the editing versus just being able to sit down at my desk and edit is something that is a thing I miss from being at home. Okay, let's see. I think there's like 2 more. I'm already sad. See, I also feel like when I record these, I talk very fast because I'm excited about it. And so I'm trying to slow down. The time goes by so fast, but maybe as more people join, there'll be more people to chat with. But I am loving these coffee options, so I'm going to look these up later. The next one is online shopping, easy shipping. So there's one thing to have the stores that you don't necessarily know where they are, but you find them anyway. It's another thing to not be able to have things sent to you. I feel like people are cognizantly aware of how often you maybe try to find something in a store, or you think about finding it in the store and then realize, oh, it'd be much faster just order it online or have the store send it to me. But if you're in a hotel, and especially if you're not going to be there for more than 7 days, then where are you going to get your stuff that isn't able to be found in store? Like, that was a thing I didn't even consider to have to think about, because as we've been preparing, I have been trying to order less. But I'm also in a space where I have all of my things. There's not a lot of things that I need that I don't have. And so that hasn't been an issue of let me have to order this or order that. And like, one is the hair care. My hair care now I can find at Ulta, but before I would have to order it online. So if I'm staying in a hotel room at an Airbnb, will I be able to get packages? Will the hotel allow me to have stuff mailed there? And what if like I'm at a hotel, they say I can have my package sent there, the package is mailed there, It'll be here in like 3 days and we leave in a week and a half. Okay, cool, that's fine. All of a sudden it's delayed 2 weeks, then what? Then what? We leave and they have my package. Will it be forwarded? All of the inconveniences, I should say, might just equal extra brain power. Okay, that might be what the problem is I have to commit so much brain power to all of these things, but the joy of fast shipping and online shopping, you really, when you get back home and you order that first thing from Amazon, you really feel that, okay? You feel it in your heart. I made an Amazon and Old Navy order yesterday and I'm like, this is the stuff. I know that it'll be home when I'll be home and I won't have to worry about anything. And if it's delayed, that's okay because it'll still show up no matter what. So that is the online shopping. And the last one, I bet you've probably been thinking it this whole time. I'm sure you can guess it, but it is cooking in a full kitchen. Okay, when you're on, because I'm going to call it vacation versus traveling, because that's how we think about it, my husband and I, in our head. When you're on vacation, like we just got back from a cruise. If you've been on a cruise, you know what I'm about to say. At every meal, appetizer, entree, dessert. Okay? When you're at home, think about how often you have appetizer, entree, dessert for every single meal. That for me, that's an insane thought. So I'm now on vacation, maybe 7 days, eating food that I really would not be eating back home. And that's fine. But when you're traveling 2 weeks, a month, half a year, and you're also eating like that because you don't have a kitchen, you're not able to cook, so you'll go and get maybe restaurant food, and then after a while you're like, I can't spend $15 per meal on every single meal every day. So maybe some fast food, maybe some quick bites here and there, and a pastry for breakfast. The way my entire insides would be so upset. They'd be enraged. They'd be angry. Okay, the convenience. I'd be sitting in the hotel room like, should I buy a mini crock pot right now? The way I would be like, the cost of a mini crock pot is probably the cost of one meal, and then I can actually have some home cooked meat. That is such a treat. Be like, do I want to get a hot stove? And then that's just replicating what I can and doing what I can. But having access to a full kitchen, when you come home, it makes you want to bust out every single pot and pan you have and you want to be like the rat from Ratatouille, okay? You want to make the most elaborate meal you can the second you get back from having no access to a kitchen. And being able to eat the foods you know you like that won't upset your stomach, that keep you within the lifestyle that you've been living versus having to make drastic changes every place you go. Maybe you have a kitchenette here, no kitchen here, you're in a food desert over here, or you're literally staying in the loft above a McDonald's. How do you balance all of that? That is actually, a loft above a McDonald's sounds crazy. That actually sounds like something that would take me out. Like yes. That was the longest way of saying I miss cooking in a full kitchen, or even having access to just fridge and maybe like fridge and oven, fridge and microwave, but something so that every single meal I'm eating isn't necessarily eating out. So I think that was the last one that I had written down. And if you guys are watching this and you come up with some more, please let me know. Even if you're watching the replay, put them in the comments. I will totally read them and respond to them. And I would like to end this by saying being able to travel frequently and even travel full time, if you're able to do that, is such a gift. And although we're having a good time and talking about the things I miss from home, I would not trade being able to travel with anything. I love the experience and I can't wait to be able to do it full time and hopefully do it and get paid for it someday. That is definitely a goal of mine. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe because maybe I'm biased, but I think some cool videos come out of this channel and I wouldn't want you to feel sad and miss them. So this is me trying to help you, okay? Hear me out. Just hit the little subscribe, ring the little bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload. And go and check out the Patreon. I just made the welcome post. That's the only thing up there. But right now there are 3 tiers. There will be more perks added and more tiers added. But of course, I didn't want to spread it so thin as I am just one person. So go and check out the tiers that we had. If you want to join the postcard club, I will be sending our first postcard from before we leave, and then all the postcards after that will be from wherever we are stationed abroad. So please check that out. Yes, I think that is everything for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. Bye.